Thank you for watching this video today. I want to give you a little bit of history on this bus purchase that we just made and why it is so important to me that I had to buy this particular bus. I've looked at other buses and around this area and about 3-hour journeys from here, and it seems as though those buses was, even though they were good buses, it just wasn't the one that I wanted. And the reason why is we used to have a bus. Let me start over and I'll tell you about the history. In the late 70s, when I was a little boy, we started a singing group called the Everglades Gospel Singers, and we was touring all over the area in a van, and it got to a point where we wanted to go a little bit farther, so we bought a Bluebird bus, flat nose bus that only got like 30 miles. It was awful bus. It was so slow and so sluggish. Had its issues, and the top speed was 30 miles an hour. And it seemed as though going from Naples, Florida, Golden Gate, all the way up to Fort Myers, it seems as though it was a long journey, especially singing in LaBelle, singing in Bonita Springs and Cape Coral and a lot of those towns in mid-Florida. But I wanted to tell you that the reason why we got this particular bus in the early 80s is because that Bluebird bus just didn't do it for us. So what we did, we traded in that Bluebird bus, and I think I was about 16 years old. Here I am, 56 years old right now, and so I could tell you how long this bus has been in our life. So we traded that bus, I guess, in the 1983 for this particular bus right here. And this bus is the bus that we bought in Bonita Springs from a man by the name of Bob Albright. He was also a part of a singing group, and when he got it, he sold it to us. And we've been using this bus into the late 90s. So let me fill you in a little bit more, starting with its history. This is a 1954 bus, series number 1241. 54 is post World War II. So everything in this bus is technology-wise is based on World War II technology. So it is my endeavor these next 2 or 3 years, without going in financial crisis or financial burden for it, is to rewire it and make it up to standards. It's got positive ground, which I don't want. You may disagree with that, but I don't want positive ground. I want negative ground. And so converting it over from generator power regulator to an alternator is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to put 2 fuse boxes in it, one in the rear, one in the front. So I'm going to make it modern. And the reason why is because I want to keep this bus. I want to make sure that this is an inheritance for my children and my grandchildren. And I tell you, these things are designed to last for years. What better RV can you have in your life except an old Greyhound? And that's what this was. It was an old Greyhound. It's in 1954, and it saw its service in West Virginia, Charlotte, West Virginia, and I want to talk a little bit about this bus and its history and why I bought this particular one besides any others that I've saw. I want to explain that. And then I apologize for not having this video online as soon as possible. But, between the weather and the rain and the cold, after I purchased it, it took me a month to get it home. No tow truck would touch it. So there is a lot of things that I had to do prior to make this video. And I wanted to make it on the outside because I don't want to take you on the inside. It's nasty. So it's 1980s nasty. I can tell you that, if you know what I mean. So I want to stop there and go about the history. So bear with me, if you will. This bus like I said, is a 1954. You can see the plate there in between the headlights, and that's an indication that it is a old Greyhound bus stationed in West Virginia, Charlotte, West Virginia, and it's seen its tour all over that particular area. And I assume that it was in the Greyhound service for about 10 years. I do not know. I only know of its history, a little bit of its history prior to 1980, but after 1980 I can trace it. 1983, after 1983 I can trace it all the way down to the current moment. So before this bus, before we purchased this bus in 1983, this, like I said, was owned by Bob Albright, and Bob Albright bought it, I assume, somewhere in Florida. Now, this bus used to be the Statesman's Quartet bus, and the reason why is we found some old records in there, and Bob Albright did tell us that it was owned by the Statesman's Quartet. So in 1954 to, I assume, 1964, this is 1 year after the assassination of John F. Kennedy, this bus left the service, because these buses, I assume, was only on the Greyhound service for about 10 years, and then they sold it. It already had its 3 million miles on the engine. If this is the original engine, I don't know for sure, but I could tell you that after the Statesman Quartet got this bus, they used this bus. Have no idea what the interior looks like, or prior to when Bob Albright got. But this bus probably has had 3 interior remodels, and it's about ready to have its 4th. So this is a perfect bus to have for an RV, because they just dependable. You can see down here on the bumper, I took the bumper out and I took a look at the spare tire. The spare tire, believe it or not, has never been removed out of this bus, and I guess since we've owned it, since 1980. The date stamp on the tire itself is 1972, and there's not a crack on that tire, and it still has air in it, but obviously you can't use it. Now, if you look over here to the bottom left underneath the door, you can see where this bus has got in a little minor accident. I assume back in the 60s. That's about 60 years ago. So that's the reason why this door does not close correctly, and I never personally knew that. But this bus right here is in good condition, with the exception of the destination sign, and the paint job itself is nasty. It's about 5 layers of paint on it, and it's in really good condition, but because the destination sign was left open, I could not get the bus after I started it last 2 months ago. I could not get the bus stopped, the engine stopped. It sat for 14 years. The injector was not stuck, the injectors was not stuck, but I could not get the bus stopped, so I had to pull the filter. And obviously it's lost its prime. But going around to the driver's side, you can see how the bus looks, and it looks pretty nasty, but all that is just paint related. I do have plans to do something with the windows, get new seals for them. Obviously I need to do that before I paint the bus. Down here, as you can see, is a compartment for the generator, and the generator itself operates off of the batteries of the bus. I want to change that. I want to make the batteries exclusive only to the bus, and probably put house batteries in there with solar. You can see that this had gas in it. Now, the propane tank has been removed from it. I did find the propane tank had a date stamp of 1989 on it, and it was full of propane. So I don't know how old the propane was, but I got rid of it because I do not want to have propane. Now, you may disagree with me on that, but I do not want propane on the bus. I want it. I got cut off when I was talking about the propane. The propane, like I said, was dated 1989. I said that I do not want to have propane on this bus. You may disagree, but I do not want propane. I want everything on this bus to be electrical, whether it is converted from batteries or whether it's run by the power of the generator. I can't remember exactly where I left off. I did a whole video after that moment, but my phone shut off. The door I want to fix, the top hinge is actually rusted. It's not aluminum. I assume the top hinge is brass, and that was done probably in the 60s or 70s. So I had a hard time getting the door open. You can see that this glass right here is actually plexiglass, and I want to put regular glass in it and take that frame out and put all new seals in it. I'm very, very particularly happy with this bus. It looks bad. It has its issues. I'm going to put all new air tanks on it. The auxiliary behind this right here, the wet tank and the dry tank, is going to be replaced. So yeah, there's a lot of things that I want to do to this bus, and I'm excited, and knowing that this bus is once again going to serve us. I told you that this is the 1954 PD 4104 series 1241, and how it used to be Greyhound, then it went into the service of the Watchman Quartet, and unknown period of time between them and when Bob Albright bought this in the 70s. We bought it from him in 83, and then from 83 we converted the bus in 86. And in 86 and 87, we used this bus all over as personal RV. And we brought this bus up to northeast Alabama in the 90s. And that's where it remained. Well, let me say it this way. I'm going to go back and tell you step by step. If you've watched the news here recently about that plane crash in Naples, Florida, in Collier County, this bus used to sit a mile away from that location on St. Clair Shore Road in Naples, Florida, right off Davis Boulevard. And this bus is that's where I lived in this bus. So this bus sat after we used it in the singing group in the 80s, toured all over the state of Florida in it, and my folks decided after 87 that they wanted to move to Alabama, because we had a gospel tour in Jasper, Alabama, and they liked this area so much that they decided to move here. Well, in 88 I decided I wanted to go to Bible college, and there I remained for a year and a half. And when I came back, they were living in northeast Alabama, but this bus was still in Naples, and that's where I stayed. I lived in this bus on St. Clair Shore Road for, I guess, over 6 months. I can't remember, but this bus has a lot of meaning to me. So when they decided to take this bus and I decided to come up here, they took this bus in 89 and moved it up here and brought it up to northeast Alabama. And in 1993, I guess a year after Bill Clinton was elected president, they sold this bus to a gentleman in Fort Payne, Alabama. And he used this bus to tour Talladega race cars, and he used to tow a car, or I guess he towed something with it. And in there he spent his time at Talladega. His wife spent the time in this bus. He passed away, and he sold it to another gentleman in Henniger, Alabama. And then in Henniger, Alabama is where this bus remained. He parked this bus in 2009 in a location in Henniger, Alabama, and there it remained. Now, when that gentleman passed away, his son got a hold of it. And by chance, I wanted to get a hold of him to see if he would sell it, because every time that my father and I would go past this bus, our hearts would just break, because this bus has special meaning to us. And so one day I decided that I wasn't going to worry about this bus anymore, and I'm not going to be concerned about this bus anymore. I'm going to go call the gentleman to see if he'll sell it back to me. And so I didn't know his number, so I went looking online for his number, and by chance I saw a number there, and so I gave him a call, and I said, would you be interested in selling this bus? And he said, sure. Prior to that, for the last, I guess, 4 or 5 years, we was told that this bus would never be sold. And so I went looking for other buses. I saw a bus in Liberty, Maine, and if you watch my post on this group chat, you'll find out that I posted a lot of that pictures on that bus in Liberty, Maine, on the group 4104. Ironically, that's the second time I've been in that bus. That bus also came from Fort Myers, Florida, probably from Florida Bus Sales. A group by the name of the Spicers Group bought it and was trying to sell it. And in '86, or excuse me, late '70s, you have to forgive me, these dates just run together, but in late '70s we was going to buy that particular bus from the Spicers and decided not to. And that's the same bus that sits in Liberty, Maine today. Looked at another bus in Clarksville, Tennessee. It was in bad shape. There's no way we could have got it home. The tow bill would have been worth, it would have cost me more than the bus is worth. I looked at another bus in Scottsboro, Alabama, and it's a beautiful bus, but it's not an RV. It's just a commuter bus. And so I offered them a price and they didn't take it. But this bus was exactly, I made an offer on this bus and he said, okay. And it was to the penny on what he wanted and what I was willing to ask. So if God is not in something, that is an indication that he was in this purchase of this bus once more. So I'm going to stop the video right here and then start another one and go over the engine, because I really want you to see the engine. And the structure of this bus is very, very good, but I want you to also see the engine. Here is the rear of the bus, and you can see that the rear window has been removed. Actually, it fell out. The seals was so bad in it that nothing was holding the window up, and while it was sitting in Henniger, the window just fell and shattered on the ground. Unfortunately, that breaks my heart. And if I do have any issue with this bus, it's, believe it or not, it's going to be this rear window. But as you can see, the tailgate or the engine door is all rusted out. I do want to replace the steel with aluminum. And the reason why is back in the 50s, there was no such thing as aluminum tubing as there is now, so they had to use steel. And every bus that I ever looked at, including the buses that still used today, are probably looks like just like this. So eventually I'm going to rebuild this door. The engine itself is in really good condition. You can see that it's got some oil on it, and over a period of time it's gotten dirty, and I don't know when the last time it ever was cranked, except when we cranked it up 2 months ago. The water pump needs to be replaced. I have taken off the starter to get the starter rebuilt. It is original starter, 1954 starter, according to the manual. It is now rebuilt. I have not put it back in because I want to clean up the bay here a little bit. I want to redo the plumbing on the fuel line. I posted this fuel line on the 4104 group, and I got some good conversations on it. But this particular secondary filter is not hooked up according to what the primary filter is. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter how the secondary filter is hooked up, as long as it filters out the sediments. I understand that. But I want to hook it up according to how it's supposed to hook up. Right now, the out is on the in and the in is on the out. So the pump, where it comes up out of the pump, it goes into the filter, is actually going to the output. Now, I pulled this filter and I still seen a stream of fuel coming from it. So no matter how this filter is hooked up, it's still going to take the sediments out either direction, and it doesn't really matter. So I don't want that to be a contention on my channel or on the 4104 group. I have a particular way that I want to do things. It may not be the way you think it should be done, but this is my bus, so I'm going to do it how I see I need to do it. So over here you can see that The air, I'm going to rebuild the air compressor. Don't know about the transmission yet, so you know, everything is just a trial step by step. But the battery terminals, the battery cables are 70 years old, and I'm fixing to rewire and put new battery cables on it. If you don't believe that, just look at this cable and see how feeble and worn out it is. So basically, if there's a wire on this bus, it's going to be 70 years old. And the reason why I say that is because of this right here. This has got a generator, and the generator may look good, but I don't know the condition of the generator. And that generator is going to be taken off. It's going to be, I'm going to have a bolt-on alternator. I think those alternators cost $400 or $500. I'm willing to spend that because I want this bus to last another 20 years, 20, 30, 40 years. Over here is your primary filter, and as you can see, it is hooked up correctly where the in is the in and the out is the out. So basically, this bus is, you know, this bus has had modifications over the years. I assume this wire right here is from 1960, 1970. It's going to have to come out. It doesn't go anywhere. There is another wire. This wire right here was replaced in the bus also in the 70s, and this wire right here replaces a lot of the harness, which these wires are all fried. That's your factory harness right there that goes into the power regulator. As you can see, I have a little bit of issue with this particular door. That's your power regulator. All that's coming out. I'm going to put a fuse box here and solenoid. That right there is actually a solenoid, not for the starter. That solenoid is for the lavatory that used to be in here and for reading lights. So a lot of this stuff right here is for the lavatory, which we used to be right up here. And the holding tank, I don't know if the holding tank is still in here, but the factory holding tank, the lavatory holding tank, is behind this location. And the only way to get to it is by removing the floor on the inside. Now, so when I get all this out, this is going to be a fuse box. And there was no fuse boxes back during the day. All you had back then was circuit panels. So all of that's coming out. You can see that this wire here, 70-year-old wire, is not really doing much. This wire, I assume, went up to that marker light. So all this is going to be taken off. This circuit breaker right here, 1954 circuit breaker, has to come out. I have no intention whatsoever to reactivate any of the old wiring or to reuse any of the wiring from this 70 years old. No intention. It's going to have all new wiring. You may disagree with that, but again, I'm going to say it again. It's my bus. I'm going to do what I think is necessary to put it back on the road. Moving over here to the door. As you can see, this is on the inside. It's had a pretty rough time there, and it doesn't close because of that issue right down here. The bottom hinge is messed up, and I didn't know that, and it's probably been that way since the 60s, I guess, 60s or 70s. The inside of this door has been treated with Bondo to make it work. I don't know what I'm going to do here. As you can see, that's all Bondo. I've got my hands full on this door. But going on the inside, I told you I'm probably not going to bring you on the inside, but it is nasty. It is what it is. The faceplate or the name tag or the nameplate that used to be here is missing. It was there when we sold the bus in 1992, 93, and it is not there now, and that's unfortunately something I cannot recover. But you can see this these steps here look, they look pretty bad. The destination sign is leaking, the water's coming in, and all this now is rotten. And I do like what my father did in 1986 when he remodeled this bus. Actually, this bus, when we owned it, had 2 remodels, and it's fixing to go through the 3rd. I said that this bus interior may have been done 4 times. It may be 5 times. I just don't know. But it's going to go get remodeled one more time. The light does work up here, the driver's light, but you can't see anything because of this. This is going to be fixed. The driving area is all the wires corroded because of the weather and the rain coming in. So yeah, this is I got a lot of work to do. Carpet's coming up. All the wood is rotten right through here. All the wood's going to have to be replaced in the floor. So basically everything is going to come out. This is the cable right here. That's mine. That did not come with the bus, but everything is going to be thrown away. And I can tell you this bus at one time looked beautiful. The carpet on the wall and the carpet on the floor is not something that's been in the bus since the 80s. It is something that was added from the gentleman that bought it from us in Fort Payne. There used to be 2 chairs right here behind the driver's seat in 1983 when we got it from Bob Albright. I was talking about two bus seats over here and 2 bus seats over here. And there used to be a main wall that used to come across here, and it was made out of OBS. And that's what separated the commuter bus from the restroom that they had. So we converted it in 1986 to what you see today, with the exception of the carpet. Now, this bus has not changed any since 1986, but this is everything that we did in 1986. Has the same original refrigerator. That's 1986. Obviously, it does not run, and I'm not going to reuse it. It's going in the trash. Over here is the sink, and obviously this is the sink that was put in it in 1986. A lot of this is my dad's handiwork, and during the day it was very, very beautiful. I have to tell you, it was very beautiful. This stove is 1970s. It's probably a bomb. Nothing on this stove should be reused. It should never be hooked up again at all. The O-rings on this stove is probably all shot. So if you started it, it'll shoot out like a torch. So yeah, I'm very, very particularly happy with this purchase, even though it looks nasty. The microwave is something that we did not do, but this used to be 2 bunks. My bunk used to be here. That is now cabinets. And we had another bunk back here for our singing group as well. Here is a closet. And you can see right here, just basically a closet. I don't know if you can see it or not. This is all messed up. This tub is nasty, but what do you expect? The reason why I'm probably going to reuse this tub is for one reason. I'm going to replace this, but behind this is all, everything behind this right here is all fiberglass. I mean, it's molded fiberglass. So removing this, I'll have a fiberglass wall on the inside. And the reason why I know that is because we done it. The tub itself may be nasty, but I don't know what it's going to look like until I get done. It does sit down into the floor. So it is a full-size tub with a full-size shower. A toilet, on the other hand, is pretty bad. You can see there used to be a window there, and you can see how the tin is there. And I assume the tin itself, between the seams, started leaking, and that's what happened here. So all of this is going to be gutted. I have to replace the floor. The reason why I say that is because of this. We stomped on a hole here. I don't know if I can even show it to you, but right here is we stomped on this hole right there to get to the air tank, and it only took us about 4 or 5 times to stomp on it before it broke. So all this floor here is rotted, and I mean it is completely rotted. And so there's so much work that has to be done to this. There is no saving this interior. There is just no way I'm going to save this interior. To be honest with you, I don't want to save this interior. Why do I not want to save this interior? Well, because I personally, since I was a teenager, hated the way the interior was laid out. So the top of this roof here is all teak. That's teak wood that's been painted over. Not my idea, but it was painted over. I'm going to take all this teak off. I'm going to sand it down to get it back to the original teak, and we're going to reuse it. I do not like, you may disagree with me on this, but it doesn't matter. This is my bus. I don't like, personally, middle aisles. You may ask why. Well, there's no rear view mirror. There's no reason why it should look like a school bus. When I get this bus, when I got this bus, I made a determination to make the hallway on this side. Now, I may end up changing that, but I would prefer to have bigger rooms and less and a hallway over here. Now, obviously, that's my thing right now, and I may end up changing my mind, but you can never access the access points in the middle here. The Greyhound bus has a door that starts from here all the way back, where all your stuff, all your wiring and all your linkages and your air goes through a little channel right through here. And the reason why people started putting these aisles in the middle is so that they could access it. Well, I'm going to do everything I can and rebuild the bus, knowing that it's going to be in good shape. So I don't have a desire to access it again here. But so my main idea is to make the small hallway on this side a big kitchen that comes around right here and over there. And so, yeah, it's going to look nice. It's going to look very, very beautiful. I do not intend to have bunk beds in it. I do intend to have the size bedroom that's in it right now, except with the access to the escape door. And so, yeah, that's future down the road. And that's the last step that I'm going to do right now, is to get this bus gutted and get this bus where I can get to the tanks, get to the point where I can run wire. So, yeah, this is the plan. Again, you may disagree with me on that, but it really doesn't really matter, because this is what I intend to do. And I wanted to make sure that I get a good video of this bus before I start tearing into it. And so when I get this bus recorded, I can save it for posterity. Basically, that's it. I spoke for probably 10 minutes a while ago, but my phone decided to shut down on me. So I don't know what I lost, but if I go over this and I realize I missed something, I will add another chapter. Thank you for looking at this PD 4104 Series 1241. This bus means a lot to me. It is our bus. It is my home. From away from home, it's always been that way. And once again, it is now home. So, and it's got another life coming ahead of it, and I'm willing to put money into it. If you don't buy these buses and you don't have the desire to put money in it, sell it to somebody who does, because these buses are worth saving, in my opinion. So thank you for your time, and y'all have a great day. Thank you. God bless. Bye-bye.